literally how I revised my GCSEs. This is not how you should do it. This is how I did it. No fluff, no gatekeep. Let's get straight into it. The core method of my revision was past paper. I imported them straight into OneNote, which I used, and then started grinding. I wasn't just like doing them and forgetting. After each paper, I went through the mark scheme super thoroughly, like highlighting the wording, how to understand it, and what the examiner actually wanted. Not just memorizing the answers, but to think like the mark scheme. And remember why this works. Imagine you're the examiner. You're gonna mark based off the marks. If your answers look just like the mark scheme, you're gonna get the mark. So here's an example of what I did. Welcome to the part where I'm gonna give you some examples. Hopefully I'll give you some guidance of exactly how I do it. Instead of me talking, I'm gonna show you how I do it so you can too. So what I've done is I've just made a new OneNote. If you're not sure how to do that, please do search online how to make it. You just right click and then press new OneNote. Once I've done that, you can see that you can either make sections or section groups. So if I make a new section group, let's call this maths, right? So what I can do is I can make section groups and then I can make like smaller sections underneath. So for example, past papers. I want this one to be maths past papers. And I can put it inside, hover over, I put it inside maths. Now look, it's inside maths, great. So I can make a new one, maybe biology. Let's do some biology papers. And if it's inside, you just want to drag it to the top and it'll get out. Good, I can right click, new section. Let's say I want past papers in here as well. Maybe I want a new section, I can add a new section called notes maybe. So something like that. If we go to biology, let's say I want some biology past papers. How do I do that? You're gonna go Google, Microsoft Edge, wherever you're gonna go. We're gonna search up GCSE past papers, just like this. Press enter, bang, look at this. We have all the past papers you could ever need. I like Revision World, have a great place where they put everything. Yeah, and then you can get pretty much everything. If you don't have it here, go find it elsewhere. Let's do some biology. Okay, here we go, biology GCSE. Now just choose the exam board you're doing. For example, I did Edexcel, so I'm gonna go Edexcel past papers. Here we go, here are all of them. And make sure you know whether you're doing foundation or higher. I did higher, so I'm gonna download some of my higher papers. For example, let's just take the most recent one they have, June 2023. Wasn't the one that I sat, but I think I did my mock on it, so I know it quite well. So you see here, I downloaded it, right? So you can see that, oh, look at this. These are all the questions from the 2023 paper. If we're this far along, then you should have a good sense of what you're doing. This hopefully will tell you, once you do a whole past paper, you would know what you're weak. So how I do it, I press this print button. Okay, I press this print. I click on the printer. These are all my printers, but I need to press OneNote for Windows 10. Okay, what this would do is if I split my screen, let's say here, I write paper 1, and then I'm gonna right click, new page, 2023, and then I'm gonna indent, so make a sub page, just so I can open and close this and organize. I love organizing because it makes it really easy to find everything. Once I've got this, printer, OneNote for Windows 10, press print, wait a second, take a few seconds, it'll load into here. I recommend doing as many papers as you can. Like if you can do every single paper, I promise you, the next time you do it, so for your 2025 exam, 2026, wherever you're doing, right? You'll just be able to do it. It's like, it's just that easy because you've done every question they could ask you. So it really is that simple. There we go. Press print. Now I'll print in. And then while I'm doing this, I'm gonna look for the higher tier mark scheme. So click here, download mark scheme. And I'll go through one of the questions if I still remember how to do it. And I'll show you how I read the mark scheme. I think AQA, the other exam boards, they have a little bit different mark scheme. But all I'm saying is they give you marks for each point you do. So for example, if we go to the Excel mark scheme, let's just do the first one. You can see here, if you say use the thermometer, you get 1 mark. If you say measure the start and end, you get 1 mark, right? And if you don't say that, or if you could say something else, but it's not gonna get you the solid mark. Like, don't go with like additional guidance. Try always focusing on what is the answer only, not additional guidance. So that's the really important part, okay? So after I've done this, I'm gonna put MS, stands for mark scheme, indent it twice, So it just, a little bit organized. You have to organize this well. I just like to organize it. Print, and then print or print in. Then we're going to try some questions and we'll show you how I mark it. Again, if you don't know your content, I would recommend doing one past paper first, and I'll show you what to do when you don't know the content. What I like to do after this is I'm going to right click my OneNote. I'm going to click OneNote for Windows 10. This will basically open another tab. So if you see here, open another Windows. And what I can do is now I can have the mark scheme on the right and the past paper on the left. I recommend doing the whole past paper first without looking at the mark scheme, but just for the sake of this video, I'm just going to do 1-2 questions and then go check it on the mark. If you don't have a digital pen, just print off the papers. I think that's the best way to do it. Sorry if my computer's a bit laggy. It's not very good with recording and everything. Okay, let's have a look at this question. I don't really remember how to do it, but I'm going to see whether I can use my common sense to figure it out. So figure 2 shows the equipment used in a school laboratory to measure the energy content of a food sample. Explain why a bomb calorimeter gives a more accurate value than this equipment for the energy content of a food sample. Okay, what is a bomb calorimeter? That's what I'm asking myself. And basically what it's saying is this thing gives a more accurate value than this thing. So this one here. So what I'm saying, okay, this thing is literally just burning something on a flame and seeing how much temperature change. I think the bomb calorimeter is like the big bucket of water and they heat it up. I literally can't remember. I think this one of them will be, there is wasted energy. There is wasted energy into the surroundings. Yeah, and then, so that probably will get you 1 mark because it's 3 marks. Thinking, okay, what else can I say? So if I was actually doing this properly, I would know the answer because I would know what a bomb calorimeter is and I would know what the difference is. The problem is I haven't done it in a year, so it's a bit more difficult. There's waste energy into surroundings. Maybe there's not a lot of water, so maybe you need a stirrer. So because the water will not heat up evenly. No stirrer. I don't know how to spell stirrer. So the water will heat up unevenly. And maybe no insulation. So heat will be lost from the water. And also it does say, explain why a bomb calorimeter gives a more accurate. So I'm talking about the bomb calorimeter, not about this thing. And I'm kind of talking about this thing. So I might not get all the marks, but I'll show you what to do when you don't get all the marks. Initially, the heat will be lost from the water. Okay, cool. So that's what I think is right, probably isn't. Let's have a look at the mark scheme. So if you're really not sure, then do have a look at the mark scheme, but do try at least 1 paper timed so you get how it is. 1B, okay. So we're gonna go down. Here's the question number, you're reading that. So 1B here we go. So you can see here, I'm reading, okay, this is talking about bomb calorimeter. It also accepts the reverse argument. So I can talk about this one wastes loads of heat, okay? So I got this mark here, you see, because there is less heat lost. You can see here, no insulation, so heat will be lost, okay? So good. Good, because the system is insulated. So I said it wasn't insulated. Kind of the same point, so I'm not gonna give myself a mark there because I kind of said it in the same sentence. I wanna be strict, I wanna know it, okay? And it says the stirrer evenly distributes. So good, I said that. So I tick here. I said stirrer, good. What else? Heat energy is used to heat the water. And then, yeah, I mean, this probably get BOD, probably. There is wasted energy in the surroundings. All / most of the heat will be used. Probably wouldn't, because I need to say all. That's when it has in brackets like this. that means you have to say one of the two. So I would say I'll get myself probably 2, maybe 1 mark. And you can see here, I didn't say exactly right, but I kind of got it. So what I want to do now is I want to have a look. Okay, all of the heat is used to heat the water. Because there is this heat loss, because the system is insulated, the stirrer even distributed. So what I'm going to talk about, I'm going to remember in my head, okay, all of the energy. And if not, I'm just going to say all 4 points, 5 points. The food burns. Okay, so I'm going to rub out my answer. Good. Okay, I'm going to rub it all out. This probably you do after, but again, I'm just doing now to show you. I put in red because I did it wrong, or green if you want to like symbolize I'm checked it afterwards. So here, okay, all energy or heat is used to heat the water. Okay, that's my first point. I remember that. There's a stirrer. I remember there's a stirrer. I forgot how to spell it again. Stirrer. There's a stirrer which evenly distributes heat. Heats. Or say distributes. Distributes the heat in the water. So I'm just trying to be as specific as I can so I get all the marks. What else? All the food burns. And I know that, you know, I got the marks now. Or maybe I haven't. But I haven't said anything wrong. So I'm just going to keep adding until I run out. What else? There is no insulation, or there is insulation. Insulation. So less heat is lost. Okay, done. So now you see I've done it. I've remembered it. Okay. I would then probably just mark, maybe jot it down at the top if you really want to do that, or 1B here, and just come back to it later. Try it again, see whether I remember it. And if you don't remember it, then just do exactly what you just did there. Read the mark scheme, write everything you can, more than the marks there are, right? Because then they give you tick, tick, tick. And if you didn't say anything wrong, so when it says here, if it says reject, that means you're gonna lose a mark, okay? If it just says, I think, if it says accept, or if it doesn't say anything about rejecting, that means even if you don't say it, or if you said it like, didn't exactly get that mark, but if you said more, they would give you the mark later on. So more is better. If they have more marks, say more marks. Good, okay. Again, we can go to the next one. Same number of reproduction then produces genetically identical organisms. What is that? Is this talking about, it's talking about asexual reproduction? So I think it's asexual. Let's have a check. I, again, probably wouldn't check. I'll just carry on, see whether I'm right at the end. Yes, okay, good. So yeah, I thought it could be mitosis. Here you can see ignore and reject. Reject will lose you a mark. You're not allowed. If you said that, you won't get a mark. If you said ignore, if you said asexual afterwards, you might get it. Okay. And here it says accept, so it could accept it. And I get 1 mark, so I just tick that, give it a mark there. Good, yeah. And then that's pretty much how I do it. For any sciences, especially biology, chemistry, physics, I do that. This is the way I do it. What else? I also use it for computer science, because that is really very like definition based. I also use it a little bit geography, like some of the questions, but more the longer answers I have to practice. I think that's all the subjects that I did this way. Yeah, so doing loads of past papers is really good for those subjects. That's basically how I did it, right? So you go through the papers and you just mark it afterwards. Maybe do the whole paper first and then come back to it. Then you can see where you went wrong. Now I'm going to show you, okay, what do we do if we really don't get a topic? Like this, for example, this, I had absolutely no idea what it is. We need to go make some notes. So I'll show you in the next part. I'll explain it first and I'll tell you how I do it with some examples. Okay, now you've seen how I did past papers. Time for the notes. How do you make notes? What if you don't know all the content? What should you do? This is what I'm going to show you now. So for notes, I downloaded the spec and then I basically made notes off the spec, because the spec tells you everything they could ask you. So if you just make notes based off that spec, you're gonna know every single thing they could ask you. And here's the thing, you have to make the notes. You can't copy them off anywhere, you have to make them, because otherwise they're not effective. You're not learning anything by copying it down. You need to go through the teacher's notes, go through your own notes, collate them all into one underneath the spec. And you need to write them in your own words. The way I wrote it, it just made sense. It's not in these all complicated terms, it's how I would remember it. So write it in your own words and you'll learn it much, much quicker. What I'm doing now is I'm going to show you how to do the notes part. So this is how I made notes for basically every single subject. I will search up Edexcel, biology, higher, specification, GCSE, something like that. And you can see Same My Exams have it. That's pretty good. Let's go to Same My Exams. Here we go. I did Edexcel. So specification PDF. So you need to first of all break down your specification. So you can see there's 62 pages. Most of them, or some of them, are not needed. So I'm going to press print. I'm going to print into here. And while we wait for it to print, we're going to have a look at some of the content. Here we go. So you can see here, if we go to 5 to 33, that's the subject content. Okay, so we go to page 5. So here is the subject content. You can see here, the first part is developing your scientific thinking. To be honest, I don't think this is that necessary. You could, for example, make some notes. I don't think it's very useful. It just isn't. Here we go, practical works. This is quite important. So I would have another section. Maybe your school provides you some notes. Core practical. I'd add another page saying core practical, and then working through that. Okay, here we go. This is the important part. So topic 1, key concepts in biology. What I do here is I wait for it to print, and then I take a screenshot. So for example here, I'm going to screenshot this one here, just like this, screenshot here. Okay, that is one point. Tells you everything you need to know about that. Explain how subcellular structures of eukaryotic and prokaryotic cells are related to their function. Okay, so I know now I need to learn what a eukaryotic, what is a prokaryotic cell, and how are they related to their function. And then they literally tell you everything you need to know. So in animal cells, you have this, this, this. In plant cells, you have this, this, this. Bacteria have this, this, right? And yeah, and then you would go through and you would split it and organize it into topics. So I'll show you for another topic. Let's say this one, right? Topic 3, genetics. So, okay, I've got my spec now. Okay, there we go. So I'm gonna make a new topic called number 3 genetics. Underneath this, I'm gonna spam new pages by clicking this. Then I'm gonna shift, click all of them and make them all a subpage. So now they're all under genetics. See that? Now what I can do is I can go into here. I'm gonna say, basically instead of writing the point, I can write at the start if you want to. What I do is I just say asexual reproduction or advantage of asexual reproduction. At the end, I'll probably put 3.1b. Just because I feel like when you're coming to revise something, if you forget something on past paper, like you're not gonna know the spec point, you're gonna know what topics it's in, but you're gonna forget the spec. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna screenshot this and I'm gonna chuck it in here. Here we go. Done. Look at that, beautiful. And I'm going to look at the next one here. Explain some advantages and disadvantages of sexual reproduction. So I think those two are quite similar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually put them in the same page. So I'm going to change this page to asexual versus sexual. Okay. And then right underneath, I'm just going to write some notes. So for example, advantages, disadvantages, and then advantages, disadvantages. I'm just going to put in some notes that I made for my actual GCSEs to show what I'm doing. So this is an example of what I did. It might not be done. I think it's done. Yeah, it is done. So here, 3.1, 3.2, I used the teacher's note. So here you can see, okay, explain some advantages and disadvantages of asexual reproduction, including this. So I first did the definitions because I thought it was quite important. So what is the difference between sexual and asexual? Okay, sexual is a process involving the fertilization of a male and female sex cell to produce offspring that are genetically different. Okay, I think the most important part is genetically different. I'll probably highlight this because that you can see that they actually tested us in that, like which one produces genetically identical. So I think that's quite important. Just the key points, for example, sexual reproduction, two organisms, asexual is one. And then I would just, either go with a friend or your parents or just by yourself if you want to make flashcards. I don't use flashcards, but if you want to, and you just test yourself. You just go through this and you're like, okay, what is sexual reproduction? What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? Could ask you, I don't know, 3, 4, 6 marker even on this. And once you do that, right, you do that for every single spec point. So if you go back to Google, every single one of these, it will take a long time. It will take, I'm not saying it's going to be quick. Hard work, it's going to take a long time. But once you do that, you're going to have every single thing. You're going to know every single point they could ask. And it's the process of making it. Don't just take the notes from somewhere else. Actually do the work. If you do that work, put it in, you will be able to do that. And remember, I know some people, they're saying like, oh, you have 10 days left. Oh, you have whatever, X many days, right? You still have all of May, all of June to revise. I know some of them are earlier, prioritize them, but also do everything as a whole, yeah? And if you don't have time to do every single topic, you need to go to the past papers, do the past papers, and then for the parts you don't know, you come and you find the spec point, you make some notes on it, right? And for example, you make the notes, maybe your teacher's notes aren't the best, you can go save my exams and just check their notes to see where you're missing, and you can add some in. And then it's just active recall, it's just trying to remember that. It's all about remembering. Just think about that, okay? So that's exactly how I would do it, just like this, and then, and hopefully you'll smash them. So good luck. It wasn't just magical shortcut. You have to put hours and hours of boring, repetitive work. But I stuck to the system. I didn't panic before my exams. I knew I'd done every single question that they've ever set. And surely the next time they can't ask something new because they've already asked all of the content in previous years. So this is why I did it. It works. And I managed to secure grade 9s in maths, sciences, and many other subjects that you will do too. And if you're still figuring out a system, just copy this one. It's so easy. Nothing can go wrong if you just do what I said for you to do. Over time, you might not see it today, you might not see it tomorrow, but in a week, in 2 weeks, once you've done 3, 4 past papers, you will see the difference. Already, right now I'm doing my A-levels. I can already see the difference with a lot of the subjects I'm doing from before I did past papers to now. And I know that it works. So that's why I'm betting on it in the long run. So send me a comment if you want some tips. I'm still growing this channel and hopefully I'll be able to give you some personalized tips in the comment. And remember, you don't have to be the smartest to get a grade 9. You just need to know the ways to revise effectively. Good luck with your GCSEs.